Sweet the whispers in your ear whenever Ember wanders near.
This could be interesting, chat. We have some movie news. Chat. Apparently a fan favorite franchise is returning. Chat, Friday the 13th is coming back. Friday the 13th is coming back.
Is so cute. I can't handle it. She's just so cute.
Let's
She's
see.
so cute.
Screen Rant put this out. What do they have to say? Friday the 13th is about to get even scarier. The horror slasher franchise is officially returning with a new installment after a 17-year absence, confirmed for later this year. The Friday the 13th movies follow Jason Voorhees, a vengeful undead slasher villain who stalks and hunts campers at Camp Crystal Lake and counselors, with each movie broadening the scope and ideas of the previous films. However, the very first movie focused on his mother, Pamela Voorhees, who killed camp counselors as revenge for her son drowning when he was little. The latest film in the franchise was an attempted reboot released back in 2009. Which I saw that one. Honestly, the 2009 film wasn't bad. I'll be real. The reboot that they did in 2009 wasn't terrible. There were a couple of small issues with it, but overall, it wasn't bad. It wasn't overly memorable, but the reboot was not a bad movie. It was enjoyable. It wasn't as good as some the Friday the 13th of Days Gone By, but it was a fun horror movie. It was a good, some of the kills were really cool. I like Jason that they didn't, I liked it in the 2009 reboot that Jason, he had his kind of teleportation powers, so to speak, but he wasn't just walking the whole time. He actually had some good movement to him. There was the one moment in the beginning where he actually kind of sort of did a run and slash at the the conclusion of the opening stinger when he's killing all people, and then he's going after the last survivor, and he kind of sort of does this a sprint, a very brief sprint, and said, okay, this is a terrifying Jason because he's not just moving robotically, he's moving more human. And for a slasher as big and as silent and as lethal as Jason, that's when I first saw that the reboot and he did that sprint at the survivor, I was like, oh shit. Okay, Jason ain't fucking around no more, and I'm here for it. So, it was a good Friday the 13th movie. It honestly was. Jason sprinted in Freddy vs. Jason? No, he didn't. Jason never sprinted in Freddy vs. Jason. He did his normal plodding walk like he always did. He never sprinted in that. What about the nitrogen scene in Jason X? I mean, well, if we're talking just kills, I mean, that's why it's good. He didn't, I don't remember it. What scene did he sprint in Freddy vs. Jason? I don't remember him ever sprinting in that movie. When he's running, that's not a run. That was not, no. No. Let me see if I can find the scene. Yeah, here we go. Here, I'm gonna mute it just so I don't get hit for copyright or anything. Let me see if we can. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, somebody tried to kick him in the balls and here we go. Yeah. Okay, wait. Yeah. He did a little bit of a jog. Okay, I'll give you it. It was a little bit of a jog when he was running him through. Yep, you're right. You're right. He wasn't doing his lumber and walk. That was a little bit of a jog. Okay, fair point. Fair point there. But what I'm talking about is hang on. Let me see if I can show it to you. Yeah, there we go. I'll show you. The bat. Here. That the way he ran here. That was fucking terrifying. When that wait, like Jason had never moved like that before. He actually looked like someone that was like legitimately ready to fucking kill someone. His movements were not so like stiff. They were more human-like, which made it more terrifying because you know that you couldn't kill him. So like that's why I thought like the 2009 reboot was actually a good attempt. It didn't quite hit with audiences, but I do think it was a good attempt. And I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. So continue on. Now Peacock's announced that Friday the 13th prequel series, Crystal Lake, will be released on October 15th. The series, which will see Linda Cardellini in the role of Pamela Voorhees, takes place prior to the events of the first movie, following the Voorhees family prior to the tragedy that befalls Jason at Camp Crystal Lake. The series also stars William Kellett as Levon Brooks, with no details about the oh no. Oh no. Oh God, help us. Produced by A24, the Crystal Lake TV show is announced in October. Brian Fuller, best known for his work on Hannibal and American Gods as a showrunner, was delayed following the strikes. Additional main cast members include Devin Kessler as Brian, Brianna Brooks, Cameron Scoggins as Dorf, Gwendolyn Sundstrom as Grace. However, just like Couch Levon, their roles in the series have yet to be revealed. Recurring characters will include Callum Vinson as a young Jason, followed by Nick Corleone as Ralph. But were you kidding me? Oh no! Oh God, it's a prequel series focused on Pamela Voorhees, where Jason's a kid. Oh God. Yeah, you said it wasn't gonna be good. Oh, I did not realize this was gonna be a series. And it's a prequel. Oh, fuck me in the ass. Oh, this is gonna be so fucking bad. It's like it's focusing on the family. Oh, no. It's focusing on the Voorhees family. Okay, hold up. There is only one way this works. There is legit one way that this can work. Okay? The one singular way this series works is if they kill off Jason at the very beginning. No. The only way this works is if they kill off Jason in the very beginning. Alright? So within the first, maybe second episode of the series, that's when they kill off Jason. Okay? Within the first or second episode of the series. And the entire remainder of the series is Pamela Voorhees' slow descent into madness. She goes through the trauma and the grieving of losing her son. And then over the course of the series, we see her descent into madness. We see her starting to become like snappy with everybody. And basically you keep Jason in the series as sort of like a hallucination, as a mental hallucination that is talking to her and is constantly telling her, you have to kill them for me, mommy. They let me die. You have to kill them for me. And like he is this hallucination that is constantly talking to her. And we see that de-evolving with her devolving into madness. And at first it's like, okay, she's like starts tormenting. She's like getting in the face of the counselors that allowed her son to die. And you can see her becoming angrier. And then maybe like halfway through, now she actually starts to kill them, but nobody knows it's her. And she finally has that moment where she kills one of the counselors, but does it by accident. She accidentally kills one of the camp counselors when she's like getting in their face, like, you let my son died. And when she's doing that, she accidentally kills that counselor. And she's like, at first she's shocked. And then she's like, yes, this is right. This was right. They all should die. And she has that, that mental snap where it's like, I killed this person. Yes. They all need to die, and have like hallucination Jason sitting there. Yes, they all have to die, mommy. Kill them all. Kill them. And like, I don't know how that would evolve into kill her. But like, have her devolve like that, where that single kill basically just causes her brain to snap, and so she like hides the body, and then she starts going around killing all the other counselors throughout throughout the entire rest of the season. And that is the one way this could work. That is literally the only way that this works for a prequel series. That's it. That is literally, if they do anything else, it's not going to work. The way I just laid it out, fleshed out a little bit more, of course, but that is the only way this prequel works, is if you do it that way. You kill him off in the first or second episode, Pamela Voorhees goes to her grieving, and then she starts a descent into madness, seeing her son as a hallucination, urging her on the dark path to killing people. She makes that first kill by accident, but realizes, yes, but her brain snaps and says, yes, this is the way to do it. This is the right, this is how it has to be. And basically you see her just become the insane person that that we see at in the first movie. That's how this series works, and that's it. If you do it any other way, it doesn't fucking work. So, unless they do it that way, it's gonna flop. I'm calling it, clip it, fucking print it, mark it right here. That is the only way this will work. If they don't do it that way, it's not gonna work, and it's gonna flop. Fucking clip it. Go ahead and clip it. I'm calling it right the fuck now. No, and that's the fear, is they won't. That's the fear, they're gonna, they might do a variant of it, of what I said. Like, obviously, Pamela Voorhees will have to descend into madness, but Pamela Voorhees will have to be a killer. The way I suspect they're gonna do it is, they're going to basically, obviously they have to kill Jason off, and then I think Pamela is gonna they're gonna try and wokify it, where she's like sympathetic to, they're gonna try and foist sympathy on characters that don't deserve it. Like, Pamela Voorhees absolutely is a sympathetic character in and of herself with a backstory. Her son was lost at a young age. But my guess is they're going to twist it so that this is what they're going to do. Fuck, I just realized what they're going to do. I just realized it. What they're going to do is they're going to change the backstory. They're going to change the backstory so that the camp counselors didn't ignore Jason. Because the original story was like that the camp counselors ignored Jason because they were off fucking or something. Like the counselors that were supposed to be watching Jason were off fucking and weren't watching him, and that's why he drowned. And and what I think they're gonna do is they're gonna change it so the camp counselors weren't actually fucking, that the camp counselors were actually good counselors, and that basically Jason did something that resulted in the drowning. Pamela's going to blame the counselors, and they're going to make the counselors blameless and just basically have her just be a fucking schizo that is just a psychopathic killer, and not have her be like the sympathetic one. They tried to sink or swim him and didn't care he died. Is that what? They didn't give you shit. They threw him in the river. Was that the backstory, that the camp counselors just threw him in the river, threw him in the water, and he died? Was that? It's been a while. It's been a while since I remember seeing that. I thought he felt. Hang on. Let's ask Grok how he died. Let's see. How did Jason originally
Paradox is so
die
cute. I
in
can't
Friday the
handle it.
13th?
She's so
Okay,
cute.
I can't remember. By the way, Darkfire, thank you for the prime. All right, by drowning, yeah. When it happened, 1950s, office size 57, Jason, a deformed, mentally disabled boy who couldn't swim well, was at summer camp. How it happened, camp counselors were distracted, having sex instead of supervising the kids. Bullied by the other campers, Jason was thrown or traced onto a dock and fell into the lake where he drowned. His body was never recovered. So yeah, it wasn't out of a canoe. They didn't throw him in. He was just chased onto a dock. I think like a rock maybe got thrown at his head, and he fell into the lake and drowned. And the camp counselors were off fucking instead of watching the kids. So my suspicion is instead of doing it that way, they're going to make the counselors be responsible. Maybe the kids did a little bit of bullying, and somehow like Jason like trips or something and falls off, and the camp counselors like they tried to save him, but they weren't fast enough, and he ended up drowning. And so the camp counselors actually were watching the kids, but they were, they had so many of the kids that they were distracted, and they weren't close to Jason. And by the time they were able to get to Jason, they just weren't fast enough to get to him. And so the camp counselors actually did try. They actually did care. They're blameless. And Pamela Voorhees is just like a psychopath who just like, it's like going schizo for no fucking reason. I suspect that that's what they're going to do with this prequel. And yes, they'll probably make one of the counselors like a minority or something. Of course they will. They're going to DEI the shit out of it. But instead of making Pamela Voorhees a sympathetic character, like a legit sympathetic bad guy, where she went crazy because instead of doing their jobs, the camp counselors were out fucking instead of watching the kids, and that resulted in her child drowning, which would make her a legit sympathetic villain, because she went crazy from mourning and rightly blame the camp counselors for not doing their job and watching her child while they, that resulted in his death. And that made her, while she was a psychopath killing people, she was a sympathetic villain. Absolutely. And so what they're going to do is they're going to take away that sympathy part, just make her a psychopath. They're going to have the counselors probably be minorities of some note, and probably the kids too. Excuse me. And I have no doubt that Pamela Voorhees is probably going to be a fucking racist. They're going to undoubtedly play that up where she's racist in some way. And it's going to basically be Pamela Voorhees as a psychopathic racist killer. And not being the sympathetic woman that, not being a sympathetic character that descended into madness, which is, a descent into madness that when you look at contextually everything that happened is like, okay, understandable. Sorry that happened to you, but you still got to die. They're not going to do that. They're just going to make her a psychopath killing the poor innocent counselors or whatever. They're not going to make her MAGA. They can't make her MAGA because this is supposed to be unless they modern day it. Unless this quote unquote prequel is taking place in modern day. It doesn't say if it will or not. It does. The show will be presenting an origin story that will seemingly stay true to the intent of the films that came before it. Axe to doubt. It doesn't say. Let's see, Camp Crystal Lake South. Let's see, what is this video here?
Property's had a bit of a troubled past, but all we saw was opportunity.
Mike, I'd like to turn to you first because this short
Hates
really
interviews.
does feel like a labor of love from start.
It's just interviews. So we don't know if they're going to set it in modern day or if it's actually going to be like 1957, like the original. You think they'll 80s it? They might 80s it. They might. That's gonna be the question. Is are they going to have it in the original timeline of it taking place in the late 50s, or are they going to have it set like in the 90s? Or, your shit, are they going to have it set in the 2020s? I don't know what they're going to do. And no, I don't trust it either. Especially with especially this is coming out from Paramount? Was that what it was? Was it Paramount? Peacock. Okay, it was Peacock. It's not like Peacock has a great track record these days. Oh, I do not anticipate. Like, you know how this could be good. You guys, I already explained how this could work. That how, like, you want to do a Peacock. Yeah, Peacock is NBC. Oh, yeah. Can't wait from the tie-in COVID if they monetize it. Oh, God help us. God help us. Is a media fetish for 80s and 90s since Stranger Things? I mean, it could be. Head fetish for the 80s and 90s is starting to wane a little bit, especially with mixtape coming out. Like, I think that the 80s and 90s veneer that Hollywood was obsessed with has dulled significantly. It has dulled significantly, especially after mixtape. Like, so the conclusion of Stranger Things, people are like, yeah, I'm really fucking done with the 80s and 90s thing. Mixtape, I think, may have put the nail in the coffin. I think the 80s and 90s thing are just, like, fucking done. If there's no Jason, then no one will watch it. No, I think and I don't expect them to, because chances are they probably already written it. If they do it in the way that I outlined, if that is how Hollywood does it, the way I have outlined it, I think it could work. And I think if they get good people working on the advertisements for it, I think it could work. And I think they could get people to watch it. I do. The question is, will they do that? That's the question. Will they do that, or are they going to do what I fear they're going to do?